they pulled away.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
Well, good afternoon, everybody.
Yeah.
I think probably just about all of you know who I am. My name is Keith Gunter. I'm co-founder, one of the co-founders, and current interim chair of the Alliance to Halt Burmy 3. And I really want you to know how much we appreciate your braving the awful weather report to come out today to our 2019 annual meeting. This is our first annual meeting in 3 years. After 7 years, speaking as an old Beatles fan, the saga of the Alliance to Halt Burmy 3 is becoming a bit of a long and winding road. As I said, this is our first annual meeting in 3 years. In that time, we have been beset. Some of our board members have had significant health issues, and worse, I think you all know that we lost Art Myatt last year to cancer, and we were hoping that today we could present his widow, Linda Myatt, with an award. We have come up with the Arthur W. Myatt 2019 Green Energy Champion Award. It reads, "In recognition for decades of outstanding promotion and advocacy for renewable energy solutions." Unfortunately, Linda was unable to join us today, so we're going to have to make another arrangement to get together with her. But it gives me great pleasure, again, to welcome you today and to let you know that the Alliance to Halt Burmy 3 is indeed coming back strong. We have a new slate of board members, numbering in 10, and we're hoping to pick up more along the way. We have $7,000 in cash reserve, and we have the prospect of raising much more through further grant funding, membership renewals, and other avenues. Most of you probably know that our potassium iodide, our KI campaign, recently got a major boost when the Ann Arbor City Council passed our citizen-inspired municipal resolution for KI stockpiling for the city of Ann Arbor. A city council member from Ann Arbor was interviewed on WEMU, I believe this morning, about the issue, so you will want to check our website for the link for that interview. We are also exploring the possibility of approaching the Detroit City Council for a KI resolution, using the Ann Arbor City Council resolution as a template. We're going to be working with Beyond Nuclear and others on that effort, and our hope is to get the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services and the U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission to upgrade their nuclear emergency planning for the state of Michigan. So, it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you another co-founder from the very beginning, former co-chair, former chair, and well, just someone who has been absolutely indispensable to this organization. And again, it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you Carol Isaac.
I'm not feeling real great, so I'm just going to sit down. And I'll make that full screen. No, I mean, I can hit the button, but I'm going to make this. I'm going to get rid of this. Oh, okay. There we go. All right. So, those of you who came in September, this is kind of a repeat of what I presented in September with a few tweaks. So, yeah. Here's Fermi from the water. A lot of people still just really don't understand the fact that we had this nuclear reactor on the shores of Lake Erie. And anyway, so there we go. And several years ago, after we had felt like we were done with our Fermi 3 as a gamble we can't afford to make, that was our theme, you know, for the first several years of the organization. So then we decided that what we really wanted was to roll out a message that together we can erase nuclear power from our future. And you see the wind turbine erasing the names of all the nuclear reactors up there. And the larger the font, the closer the reactor is to where we are. And this is on, Kim, I think you, yeah, Kim.
Yeah.
Kim, take that jacket off and show us the back of that t-shirt. Take that jacket off. I think she's the only one. Anyway, stand up.
You're gonna be our model, Kim.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, come on up
oh,
here.
there's another one we got too, all right?
What an awesome t-shirt. We have,
I want me one.
and we have really, they're all gone.
Wow.
We need
Including the
to,
blue ones?
we need to order some more, but the board is kind of poised on the brink of maybe rolling out another message. So, but anyway, this was an awesome t-shirt. All right, so a brief history of the Alliance. It was founded in April of 2012 with a 10-member steering committee after the initial messaging workshop in March of 2012 with the CHEJ, that's Lois Gibbs' work, organization rather, and Ann Ray also with the organization at that time, you know, worked with us. Articles of incorporation as 501c3 were filed in August of 2012. Took a couple years to really have that approved from the IRS. Bylaws drafted, mission state creative, brochure produced, website, Facebook, bank account, database, PO box, core leadership. We are in business. All right, and the purpose of the Alliance to Help Fermi 3 is a 501c3 nonprofit organization dedicated to the abandonment of DTE's plan to construct a third nuclear reactor near Monroe, Michigan. We are equally committed to the shutdown of Fermi 2 as soon as possible. We advocate for safe and sustainable 21st century energy solutions to the growing energy crisis that are carbon-free, nuclear-free, and which rely instead on the use of conservation, energy efficiency, and 100% renewable energy. All right, so, you know, this is the DTE service area that is, you know, within the 50 miles of the nuclear radiation zone, what we like to call the zone. And here is Fermi. So you can see there's quite a swath, you know, of territory that we have tried to organize. And, you know, it's quite a challenge, but it was, you know, it's been, this map probably more than anything has been the best talking point when we're out in the community talking to people about, you know, the need to be aware of the swath of, you know, the 50-mile radiation zone. Okay. Approximately 5 million people live within the 50-mile Fermi 2 radiation zone. Our challenge has firstly been one of scale. How do you reach 5 million people who live across this 50-mile radius? Secondly, many are not aware of the existing Fermi 2, much less the proposed Fermi 3. The nuclear industry has spent big bucks to convince the public of the need for nuclear power in spite of the obvious risks, Fukushima, Chernobyl, TMI, and has argued the case for nuclear power as the carbon-free answer to global warming. So against all odds, the Alliance took on the challenge of Fermi 3, appealed to the wisdom of the Village Square with our targeted messaging campaign that included many strategies. Our objectives pretty much remain the same: to raise awareness, to change the conversation, and affect the decision-making process. So, you know, we have been really blessed with grant funding, you know, and you know, not tons, but periodically we have been able to come into some money, and we came into some money in 2014, and we put up this billboard, which is right on the corner of Michigan and Trumbull, just down the street from DTE headquarters, you know, so a lot of people saw this billboard. This is a very heavily trafficked intersection. Again, at that time, we were still hammering on the idea that Fermi 3 is a gamble we can't afford. Okay, all right, here's just, you know, you saw in the slideshow that was running here, and we've had just all kinds of, you know, outreach events, demonstrations, lectures, you know, hearings, it just goes on and on. And here's Ethel, yes, there she is. And this was, I think, at one of the NRC, I think that was down in Monroe at one of the NRC hearings. I'm pretty sure that's where that was taken. But, yep. And then this was our version of the Village Square right in downtown Monroe. And this was an event that we did to kind of bring to light. It was around Halloween, and we were talking about mutants for nuclear power, and so we all got dressed up. And so we do have a lot of fun from time to time. It's the Got KI campaign is a joint effort between Beyond Nuclear and the Alliance that began in October of 2015 for the purpose of raising awareness about the importance of making KI directly available to residents in the emergency planning zone surrounding Fermi 2, which is a 10-mile radius in case of a nuclear accident. The current voucher system in place has less than 15% participation, thus leaving most in this immediate risk area unprotected. We kicked off our campaign with a series of door-to-door canvasses, community forums, and a resolution drive with local units of government within the 50-mile zone that the American Thyroid Association recommends all residents within 50 miles of Fermi 2 have KI on hand. Anyway, the breakthrough that Keith referred to on February 4th, just a few weeks ago, the City of Ann Arbor officially supported our resolution by unanimous vote of the City Council, making Ann Arbor the first city in the United States to call for direct distribution.
We're number one.
All right, and once again, here's some more cheesy shots of all of us. All right, Michael, as you know, Chris
Cheesy.
Williams, Brenda, Vic, myself, Valerie Crow, and Kevin Camps. Yes, where would we be? And then this was in Toledo. There was NRC hearing. This was dealing with the radioactive waste, and they were trying to monkey around with some of the laws on all of that, and we were trying to make the case that, you know, the best way to deal with the problem of nuclear waste is to stop making it. Yes. So the overview on all things Fermi, stay tuned. It just keeps getting more interesting all the time. In spite of fierce opposition and a cogent legal argument postponing Fermi 3 license by more than 6 years, the NRC issued a license to build Fermi 3 on April 30th, 2015. And keep in mind, DTE had filed for their license originally in September of 2008. The interveners filed their legal intervention in March of 2009. You should note that this was a parting shot that George Bush threw out before he left office. He made it possible. He got Congress to agree to allow for some funding for new nukes, and that would subsidize the cost of new nukes. That's how Fermi 3 came in. The idea of building a Fermi 3 came to be. All right. In December of 2016, the NRC grants a 20-year license renewal to Fermi 2. DTE applied for their license extension in 2014. The Detroit Free Press noted that license approval was put on hold due to grassroots activist craft concerns about emergency preparedness and the distribution of KI in the 10-mile zone. On April 26, 2017, DTE announced its plan to shutter 25 aging, inefficient, and dirty coal-fired plants over the next 10 years and concentrate its energy profile on a plan for natural gas. The plans to build a natural gas-fired plant in East China Township, that's up by Port Huron, was announced in the summer of 2017. Renewables and efficiency. In a surprise reversal, DTE announces that plans to build Fermi 3 are on indefinite hold given the current economic trends. In June of 2018, DTE files a 60% reduction of Fermi 2's value and seeks a 60% tax cut with Monroe County to the tune of an overall $27.2 million per year, split between Fermi 2 and the Monroe coal plant, which got the people of Monroe pretty upset, as you can imagine, because so much of their, a lot of their programs come from the tax base that Fermi 2 provides. Hard to know really how that's all going to shake out. Anyway, nationwide, nukes are closing, plans to build the nukes are on hold. We've shut down 2 in California, San Onofre, Crystal River, Florida, Clinton in Illinois. Palisades was supposed to come down last year, but they have revised that date. And New Jersey's got one that came down last year, Nebraska a couple years ago, Vermont Yankee came down, Kewaunee in Wisconsin. Okay, so good news. Consumers Power and others have entered the wind market. And I know Thomas is coming after me, and he's going to give you an update on all things renewable. So some of my facts may be a little outdated on these slides. But anyway, that's that. Solar power. Yeah. So which path do we choose? To preserve and cherish the pale blue dot, the only home we've ever known? Yeah, I'm thinking that's probably a good idea. So, yep. Here we are. Will we the people take action, raise our voices to resist the takeover of our own power, or will we sit by and allow an 80-year-old mistake continue to wreak havoc on the society now into the future? So, together we can erase nuclear power from our future. Yay!
Let's do it.
That's that. Okay, and I'm going to bring Thomas Reinke up now. He is a new board member with the organization. Happy, he came to our listening session in September and, stepped right up and agreed to join the board. He has 15 years experience in the renewable energy, what's it called, self-reliant energy. And he's based actually up near Lansing, Fowlerville, right? So he drives quite a distance to be part of this with us.
Okay.
So we are thrilled to have him.
And I am thrilled to be here, and thank you all for coming out today. It's a true pleasure for me to be speaking in front of Alliance to Halt Fermi 3 because I had gotten involved with them when they first started. I was relatively new in renewable energy, and it seemed there were many groups that were approaching me and asking me to speak at their events or to come to their events. And we had some kind of fun out there. We were protesting and rallying and all the boycotting we were doing with some of the other groups. But we've come a long way, which shows that all of us together, if we're like-minded, we can make some changes in the political arena that we sometimes think is so very difficult to do. Is it difficult? You gotta believe it. I have learned in my 15 years, there are political obstacles that I've had to overcome that I really didn't even wish I never knew. But anyway, so in moving forward, there are a lot of great things that are going on in solar energy, but that's with the help of organizations like Alliance to Halt Fermi 3 and Great Lakes Renewable Energy, which is in the last 10 years has just jumped up leaps and bounds, and I'm certain that is because of persons like us who are tired of getting reamed by our political leaders and by our utility companies. There are other ways. We're long past burning coal. We're long past burning fossil fuels. How come we are last on the list with promoting renewable energy or supporting renewable energy in Michigan when 38 other states around us have incentives available to residents, homeowners, business owners to install or adapt to this type of equipment? So lots of questions I'm sure a lot of you may have. I wrote this presentation for today because, and I did do a slide. I'm grateful to be on the board of directors of Great Lakes Renewable Energy. I'm grateful to be on the board of directors of Alliance to Halt Fermi 3, and I'm grateful to be able to stand up here and speak because 20 years ago I was a little quiet, shy church mouse, and you never thought that I was doing that. What I would like to tell you truly is that I install 3 systems every single week, but I can't. I don't do that. I'd also like to tell you that I have 10 colleagues or 10 friends who also install solar equipment like me, but I can't tell you that because I don't. I'd like to tell you that there are solar installation classes or renewable energy classes at all of our community colleges and universities, but I can't tell you that. I'd like to tell you that there are utility provider or state incentives available for residents like us to get involved in solar equipment, but I can't tell you that either. I'd like to tell you that there are 20 manufacturing companies here in Michigan that produce equipment that can be purchased at the local home building store that we can put on our own homes. But I can't tell you. But there are things that I can tell you, and exciting things that I can tell you, that solar equipment costs now are less than they've ever been in the past. Will they continue to go down with the change in technology and improvement in tech? Absolutely. So don't say, well, I can't invest now because the technology is going to change. Well, I assure you that the equipment that's being manufactured today has 25-year warranties on them. So if you're investing now, reinvestment in the next 25 years is probably not going to be likely, but the costs are significantly lower now. And why is that? Because equipment manufacturers have recognized that there are people out there, myself included, that are handymen. We have boxes of tools, we have trucks, we have manpower. We can install this equipment ourselves on our own homes, which is what the focus of my company is now moving towards. Because with the inability of contracting qualified labor personnel, because there's no training in the schools, or there's inability to work. If I hire a guy, he wants 40 hours. I can't always guarantee them that. So what I have learned to do is adapt to teaching average homeowner Joe to install this equipment by themselves, and very easy to do. So other things that I can tell you, get involved. I have a sign-in sheet, do-it-yourself solar training classes that are available at Detroit Training Center and at our location in Fowlerville, and we can coordinate those based on, okay, we get 10 people together that all want to come at the same time, then we'll coordinate that, or 5 people at either facility. So please do that. I can share with you that there is a very high-quality solar manufacturing company in Michigan that I use primarily for purchasing equipment for residents in Michigan. They are Contractor Building Supply, CBS Solar, out of Cocomish, Michigan. Upon 2 days of receiving a check for the equipment that will be delivered to you, it will be delivered in a pickup truck by a young man who will drive this to you. So within 2 days, unlike 5 to 6 years ago when I purchased equipment, it came from California, came from Arizona, it could take 6 to 12 weeks the time they receive the check. So that's pretty inconsistent when trying to coordinate the installation of equipment. Most PV systems, solar installation, have become so easy to install that within 2 days of the equipment arriving on your site, that system can be commissioned onto your building. So there were years ago, several years ago, I was able to do 3 to 4 installations of wind, solar, other repair work, but those seems to have been fizzling out. I'm not sure what's going on with that. There were years when I had 10 or more colleagues and friends that were supportive of each other. If I landed a big job, I could pull in Damon or I could pull in somebody else and we'd jump on this job and get it done together. All of those, ladies and gentlemen, those guys have left. They left Michigan to pursue solar energy in other states that provided very lucrative incentives to homeowners and residents. But so we need to bring them. And not so long ago, we did develop solar curriculums. I was part of an advisory board at Oakland Community College, myself and probably 50 other business owners, solar owners, lawyers, educators. We developed a 2-year program that was to be shared with all the community colleges in the area and implemented so that we could train young men and women. Those programs do not exist as they did as they were developed some 5 years ago. If you go to the community colleges now, the programs are very weak. So let's get moving on that. I personally, after coordinating this curriculum at the advisory board, I attended this at Henry Ford Community College to see what the average student would go through. And my intent at the time was to continue teaching at Henry Ford Community College with my first assignment, which was biomass. That was asked an assignment to do a biomass program at the school. Before the programs were implemented, funding was cut and those programs were eliminated. So then I go from Henry Ford to another school, Michigan Institute of Aviation Technology, where I successfully developed solar, wind, professional skills, and other types of curriculum for the students to get them from what they were doing back into the workforce, because there was a big jump at the time. Ms. Jennifer Granholm was in office and everything's going to be renewable energy. Funding was cut. The school moved to Texas where programs were available, so limited educational programs are available for our young people in Michigan. The state of Michigan provides zero incentive for residents to get involved with renewable energy. I may have spoken with 38 other states around us that get incentive from either the state or from the utility providers so that they can install this equipment on their homes. We do not. And I was able to meet with some representatives from Michigan on Wednesday of last week, the Solar Lobby Day, and expressed the same things. I actually went over the same topics that we are speaking about today in front of this representative so they could know, because apparently these lawmakers or political leaders aren't aware of some of the obstacles that you or I or many solar installers encounter when trying to develop or build a business in Michigan. Again, there is one company in Michigan that does produce solar, CBS Solar, as I mentioned. I have been pushing, when I go to some of these other political events, they want to know what I want to see. What do I want to see? I want to see this equipment at the Home Depot so I can drive my truck or get a guy in a truck to go there and pick up the load, drive to the job site and start installing. There is equipment now available at Costco. Okay, there was a big push. It wasn't directly by me, but Costco offers solar electricity generating systems under the name of Grape Solar. Now, Grape Solar is a good company because they are a United States manufacturing company, and I have under contract with them to help with the installation of the equipment should the homeowner fail. And my time's probably up because I hear the buzzer going off, so
No, that was just my phone. Don't.
there is water heating equipment available at Menards. Now, either of these items are not available in store. If you go to Menards or you go to Costco, you can't, so you have to go online and purchase this equipment. But if you have a mind to do this, then let's work together. Again, I assure you some of this equipment is not rocket science. It is our political leaders and our utility companies would like to believe that this technology is so far out of our reach that we can't afford it, we can't do, no, those days are gone. We will gladly pay $20,000 for an automobile, but why is it we have a difficult time spending $15,000 to $20,000 to power our own homes, which is on average, don't quote me on that, this is the average cost to light up a residential home, full house scale system. If you want to install it yourself, Now we're looking at 10 to 12 grand. Isn't that a huge savings? Yeah, I can give that to you guys. I mean, why not? I mean, I don't